So here we are, we have now loaded in, spawning down here on the left-hand side. We do have our red Terran player. It is TOR's Genja. And up here in the top right-hand corner, spawning as our blue Terran player, we do have our blue Terran. It is Kiro. So Kiro is from TCP, Team Carbon Pressure, and Genja is from Time of Rising. Now, something about Genja, we have seen him week in, week out in the BSG Open, so we know that he is a very competitive player. In training last night, we saw him play some fantastic games. So I know that he is a very strong player, and actually his TVT is usually pretty fantastic as well. Kuro, I haven't actually seen him compete in many tournaments, I don't believe. I do know his name, I do know him around the SC2 scene, but unfortunately I don't know too much about him. That's why I would like to get some TCP guys on here to cast with me. That would be fantastic, just to help this go along a bit smoother, but we'll see how we do go as the game is now progressing. We do have Kuro there, taking a short little lead there with the SCVs. It looks like that his is coming out just a little bit better. Both players throwing down their barracks at the exact same time. So it looks like everything is running pretty identical at the moment. First gas going down there by Genja, and exactly the same going down in Kuro's base. Oh, actually, oh no, there's the barracks. Look at that. Fantastic. We do have Genja actually coming up here for a bit of a block. Now, this is something we're not seeing from Kuro. What this is going to allow Genja to do, it's going to allow him to really deny the scouting of Kuro. He just needs to make sure he puts the supply depot down before this SCV of Kuro reaches that base. And this is really going to deny Kuro from knowing how many gases are down if he's putting down more barracks as well behind this, and is going to be applying aggression as the game continues further on. And we're actually seeing a tech lab go down. He's not going to put down an SCV. Oh no, he actually just misses it. Unfortunately, what I would have liked to see Genja do there is actually take that SCV off just that little bit earlier and put down a supply depot, but not finish it. Just to have it down is such an important thing. It stops those SCVs from getting in there and checking out the whole base. So now Kuro knows exactly what's going on inside Genja's base, and it's going to see everything. Up here, Genja's just come in for a little bit of a scout. Let's have a quick look at his camp. He actually scouted cross positions. As this is the GSL version, he does think that it is cross positions only. However, on Metropolis it isn't. It is actually... Oh, what's he doing? Oh, there he goes, going up there now. It is actually both positions as long as they're far away. Any position but the close ground position. Now, Genja here is actually going to lose his scout to this Marine, so he actually didn't get up there and see anything inside Kuro's base, so he doesn't know how many gases are down and how many barracks are down as well. Kuro's actually throwing down his factory now, while Genja's actually gone ahead and expanded. So Genja really playing now for that playing for that macro style of play. He has one Marine out on the field, a second following it up now. He actually hasn't cleaned out this SCV yet, so this SCV still knows everything. He's trapped it in the base, so it's not going to see that command center that's down there for Genja. I like what Genja's doing here. He's putting it down on the low ground so that there's no chance that this SCV inside the base will see it. It is going to start to see now the barracks go down, and everything else that's going down in the base. He's actually going to see Stim that researching as well, but this SCV continues to live right now, and it will continue to live for a bit longer, while Kuro here doing very nicely with these Marines, positioning them quite nicely, while a starport going down here by Kuro, only getting his second gas now though, so it is quite delayed. As he is going for the starport play, we usually would see that gas go down a bit earlier, so then he can get, by the looks of it, hopefully some Banshees out on the field, which we should be seeing those two switching over very shortly if he is. Actually, he's not. I would have liked to see some Banshees coming out there to possibly do some serious damage onto Genja, as he is playing this very macro style, getting that extra command center down there at the natural expansion, taking that quite safely now. It doesn't look like there's going to be any pressure for a little bit, as Kuro is now preparing to expand. Here, Kuro is now only just getting his attachments on those barracks, so he's not going to have any of those upgrades out. Actually, no tech lab going down, so he's not going to have Stim or anything on the field. He is starting that siege tank production, which could actually be quite deadly against Genja. As Genja's got only Marines out on the field, siege tanks could prove to be quite troublesome for him. But we'll see how it does go, as he is throwing down 2 more reactors on those barracks, has got the engineering bay on the way, and has now started +1 weapon, so he's going to be able to deal that extra bit of damage onto Kuro. But what Kuro's got here, he's throwing down his expansion, he's getting it slightly later, but he's going to have tech, and he's going to be able to deal some damage if he does go for this aggression. He's going to have this siege tank tech, and it's going to allow him to really do those massive big hits of damage onto the few Marines that Genja has. So I really would like to see Kuro go out and apply some pressure very shortly, just to really punish Genja for going for that faster expand. As he's actually going out here for a little bit of a scout, sending 2 Marines down there to possibly clean up that watchtower. A Reaper actually there at that Zelnaga for Genja, so it should be able to run away and maybe do a little bit of harassment onto these. But there we go, it is going to try and do it. Oh, actually manages to take out a Marine. Reapers are pretty good against Marines. Siege Tech almost finished up here now for Kuro, so he's going to be able to apply aggression with that if he does choose so. But we'll see if he does. He actually doesn't have too many Marines out on the field against such a big Marine force that's now coming out of Genja. He does have 5 producing at a time, taking his second gas now, and finally putting down his factory. So that factory is quite delayed as to what you saw from Kuro. Kuro's is already up. He already has that siege tech. He's actually just sitting back at his base though, and playing really turtly. I would like to see that siege tank there actually moved a bit closer to the edge so that it can hit any type of forces that do decide to run up here, which really could do some massive damage before Genja applies any type of aggression. But it looks like he's just preparing to play extremely turtly, really protect from drops. But here comes Genja now, moving out across the map, looking to apply some serious aggression here, but not quite sure what he's going to be able to do with all of these siege tanks that are now set up and more still on the way. Looks like Kuro is now just going to prepare for it, moving his tanks down to the low ground. Oh, if Genja actually moves close to this edge, this is why those tanks need to be closer to that edge, so they can get off big hits, and those Marines do take 1 big hit there. So quite a bit of damage being done onto them, and Genja really shouldn't be attacking into this now, as he's just walking into tank fire and losing so many Marines, taking so much damage there. But he does have that +1, and this could be quite worth his while. That does take out that siege, actually managed to take out a siege tank there and quite a few Marines, but I believe that went Kuro's favor. Yes, it did. We can see that Kuro is slightly ahead at the moment. So that's a nice little lead for him, and that is going to slightly start to make up for putting that expansion down a little bit later. So small little advances that he can get up there on Genja is definitely worth it for him. Because with this tech style that Kuro is doing, he's playing very turtly behind it, going for macro style. And when you're getting all that tech, usually you want to try and apply some aggression with it so that if your opponent plays macro, you can punish them for it. But it looks like he's now preparing up to go for a drop here. We'll see how this does turn out. There's some missile turrets now set up, but where is this drop leading to? It's not, he doesn't have SCVs in there, does he? No, he doesn't have SCVs. So let's just have a quick look. He's actually positioning it down here. Where is he going with that drop? We'll see where he can actually put it down. I believe the safest spot would actually be behind the mineral line. He doesn't have that covered, which could be a big problem for him if he's not too careful. But here we go. These tanks should start sieging up so he can take out this missile turret. So he is now giving it away. He just wants to make sure that those medevacs aren't seen, and they are. They're actually running into the missile turret. So a bit of a misclick there, but this tank actually should be able to get some good hits on all of those Marines. We'll see how it is. He's able to hit that 3rd command center now, using those medevacs quite nicely. That Kuro playing fantastically well, able to use those medevacs to spot those Marines. Scan goes down there, he gets a count of the Marine number, and we'll see how it does go. As Kuro looks like he is going to be moving back now. He did do a bit of damage there, but not too much, forcing Genja to repair that command center before it did go down, and also managing to take out a missile turret. What taking out this missile turret does, it opens up a massive avenue for Kuro to drop later. Because that missile turret there was protecting him from all types of drops there and really hitting the production. All of these reactors, if they go down, Genja's in a lot of trouble. They do take 50 seconds to make. That is a long time for you to stop all your production and just to try and get it back up to where it was. If you don't go for those reactors, it is going to half your production, so it can be quite problematic. He needs to make sure he puts another missile turret down there. Even if it does keep getting taken out, he definitely wants to make sure he has that. It's so important to get that there on this map. Right now, a Marine for Kuro actually going out here, checking these bases. So Kuro doing a really nice job scouting there, making sure that he's not going to be hit. But here comes Kuro now, looking to apply a bit of pressure. He needs to be careful, setting that tank up quite nicely there. And here he comes now. It looks like these are going to be the ones to try and snipe off a few medevacs. That tank doing massive damage there, hitting so many Marines, forcing Genja to actually siege up, and all of his Marines are running into siege tanks there. Big problem for Genja, losing so many units, but Kuro also losing quite a fair few Marines as well. Forced to pull back. They're going to be advancing some tanks up onto that high ground in a bit more of a forward position so that he can try and be a bit more aggressive for him. Scan does go down. Is he going to hit these Marines? He does get one hit on those Marines there while this siege tank is taking some damage. And will it get taken out? It doesn't look like it. Here comes Genja now coming up here onto this high ground. There is no chance that he can drop this though, because as soon as they do, they are going to get obliterated by the siege tanks. And there they go. It looks like he's going for it, but there's so many siege tanks here, it's just not going to be worth it. We'll see how he does go with this, though. And it looks like he's going to be in a bit of trouble, losing so many Marines for only a siege tank there. So if we have a look at the units lost tab, there we go. We see Kuro with a nice little lead there, almost 1,000 lead. As Genja's now just rallying up so many more units, taking a third behind. This is exactly what we like to see in this level, the BSGP. Taking an expansion behind your aggression, that's a really good sign of a player that's really advancing up through the ranks. So he is going to be able to macro up behind this aggression and apply some pressure onto Kuro. Something about TVT that I find really hard and really difficult when you do play it is actually pushing up into these siege tanks line. They're very, very difficult to push up into it. So what Genja's doing now, he's just going to hold a nice little contain. I would like to see him start to move up and possibly position some siege tanks around here as well to stop Kuro from going for a little bit of a sneak around the back and into his main. But it looks like that Kuro's going to be bringing the pain anyway, sieging, getting a few of those medevacs now full, ready for a drop. We'll see how it does go. A scan going down there. Actually, siege tank's taking massive hits. Will one fall? No, it doesn't. Actually manages to live. Genja could call in a mule here. Does he have the energy for it? Just getting the energy there now. So Genja's actually playing really well here. What's he doing with all these SCVs? He's actually long distance mining from the fourth. But here he comes now. He's moving up. Losing two siege tanks there to the siege tank of Genja. Genja really needed to scout that third before he went into this position. Because going into this position, he did lose a lot of his big burst damage. Losing those two siege tanks was quite a big problem for him. And it looks like that Kuro now is going to move around and try and take out some of these reinforcements. Another Marine looks like it will come in here. Oh, Genja actually getting a little bit of lag. And there we go, back into it. On the upgrades, we do have Genja at that 1-1, researching +2 weapons, while Kuro is getting his +1 vehicle weapons. Oh, here he comes. Some Marines actually coming in, managing to take out a tank, and also lure the Marines of Kuro in, so a fair bit of a nice trade there for Genja, however, falling a bit behind. Now, in the resources lost count, we see 51 units lost for Kuro, 91 lost for Genja, so Genja's in a bit of trouble. Here comes the drop though. There it is. All of those reactors are now down. The drop for Kuro is just doing so much damage. Looks like that Genja is going to lose all of his production here. Has nothing coming out to really take this out. Not with these medevacs. Stim going down now, applying so much damage, and here comes a drop for Genja. Actually dropping in the siege tank fire again. A big mistake there by Genja, and it looks like he could be in a bit of trouble as this is progressing on. All these Marines by Kuro are now focusing down the reactor and the tech labs on all of these production buildings, and he's going to lose another tank here. Genja is now just forced to go all in. He has no real option after this, and he's just not going to be able to get it, unfortunately, as there are tanks on the high ground, and there's actually tanks everywhere for Kuro, just dealing so much damage, and Genja's going to have to tap out of here very shortly. He's losing all of his supply and all of his production. There's no way he's going to be able to take this out to deal enough damage, even with these medevacs healing. They still do have half energy, so they're going to be able to heal quite a fair bit. Some Marines still now alive for Kuro, and there's the GG by Genja. Just having another quick look here, we see that Genja really didn't have anything up here for his aggression after running in. So great play there by both players, and it looks like that TCP is going to take away the first game here. There you go.
Is everyone else loaded?
Yeah, we're all in, man. So you've been dropped.
Yeah, just drop me for now.
Okay, guys.
I'll mic off for now.
Okay, man. Oh, okay. So Patrick, you're always watching, as always. We'll start it now. So here we are, everyone, and welcome to Game 2 here of this Best of 9 series. Spawning up here, the second player from TOR, we do have Xanderax. He's going to be spawning as the red Zerg up in the top right-hand corner. And down here in the bottom left-hand corner, managing to take away the previous game, we do have our blue Terran player. It is Kuro. He is from Team Carbon Pressure, TCP. I'm sure all you supporters out there are really cheering for him to take it away and maybe go for an all kill. I don't know. We'll see. He's playing exceptionally well so far. We saw him play very, very nicely in the past game there against Genja, where he played very, very passively, very, very defensively, and then just absolutely crushed all aggression that was coming in from Genja. So Kuro, a very, very strong player here. I believe he is top 8 gold. So we're good to see some strong play coming out of him as we continue on. And it looks like Xanderax here is going to come out now for a scout here. Bit of an earlier scout coming out by him. We should see him head down for that 15 hatch very shortly. Should be actually making one more. Oh, he's actually going for a 14 hatch. So it would be probably a 13 hatch, I would say, as he is sending one drone off here to scout. He's actually should be able to get into that base very, very shortly there. And what is he going to do? Is he going to attack this SCV? Yes, he is. Something that Terran hates so much is when that SCV gets attacked. It forces Terran to actually pull another SCV off the line. So it's something that Zerg should be doing a bit more, because it's really forcing Terran to lose that extra bit of economy early on. And so right now, Xanderax is just going to get a nice little scout off here, and the same for Kuro. He's getting around in that base pretty uninterrupted at all, and Xanderax doing a little bit of microing there of all of his drones, getting them all actually on the right mineral patches. Spawning pool is currently down for Xanderax as well. I believe that did go down straight after that hatchery. So his hatchery is just about complete. That was a 14 hatch, and it looks like Xanderax, oh sorry, Kuro is going to go here for an expansion now. It looks like going to be putting that down here, and is actually going to lose this drone very shortly to the Marine, chasing it behind. And there we go, Kuro's expansion is now down. He's actually hiding an SCV here off to the side, so he's going to use that a bit later on to go up and scout what's at the front and possibly just see what's going on inside the Zerg front. If they've taken a third, possibly over here at the third expansion of Xanderax, but we'll see how it does go as the game progresses on now, and both players are going for this macro style of play. Something that we're seeing coming out of Zerg quite a bit now is a very heavy queen opening. They usually go for that 4 to 6 queen opening, and what that will do, that will get their creep spread out on the field, and it'll also deny a lot of Hellion harass. It makes it a lot more difficult to really use that. And I see a bunker going down here at the front for Kuro now. Going to be really protecting up that expansion. And coming in now for the SCV scout. We don't have any more queens coming out here. Xanderax actually opting to put down a creep streamer first. I do like this, as what this is actually putting down two. I'm not sure if I quite like that. One is sometimes a good idea because you don't really have the resources coming in this early, especially with the gas as well. You don't really have the resources coming in to really use both of those injects. You could have possibly used one of them, but it looks like that he's opted to put down 2 creep streamers, and he is going straight for that third now. So that is helping him out as well. Putting down that third, he's spending those resources that he would have used on drones on the expansion just to get that bit more of economy. Has he actually seen the expansion though? No, he hasn't. So he's going very fast into 3 bases without knowing what the Terran's doing. He hasn't scouted 2 gases that are currently on the field for Kuro, who is now making a wall outside the front of his base to really protect from those banelings. He's actually putting all of his SCVs there. Oh, sorry, all of his supply depots there. Something that I really not sure if I like about this is with these supply depots at the front like that, if banelings do come and you lose those supply depots, they are really good for holding off banelings. But something that's going to happen is if you lose them and then the banelings keep going through, hit your bunker, take out a fair few Marines, you manage to hold that off. You then have to go through and you have to rebuild those supply depots, which is a big problem because it's really going to slow down you from repopulating as the game continues on. And as we can see there, we do have Goomba, I believe it is, there, swimming in the middle of the map there, flying little shark, being a complete baller. As we have Xanderax now going onto a lair there, still with currently 1 gas. Will we see him take more very shortly? Getting that third queen out on the field as well there at the third base. Baneling Nest is also down at the moment for Xander. Lings, how many Lings are actually out on the field for him? He does have 10 Lings out on the field, so he's going to see what's going on. He's also going to see those Hellions there, so he knows those Hellions are now there. And we see what could possibly be... Will he actually lift that up and put it onto that tech lab? If he does, it looks like that he is. So he's going to possibly be going for Banshee plays from this, which could be very, very strong. As we see Xandrax, he is getting that land now, though. So we'll see if he does decide to go into Hydralisk. I don't believe he will with these Hellions out on the field. But Hydralisks are a very, very strong play. He is putting Spine Crawlers down there at his natural expansion. I do like this placement of Spine Crawler. It is going to be able to reduce the actual ground that... Hellions can get into that natural expansion, so that Spine Crawler is going to get a lot of extra attacks off, and there it goes, getting one nice hit off there. Will all these Hellions get surrounded? They are on creep, and it looks like that they will take a lot of damage, but micro here by Kuro does manage to line a few up, but they will get taken out. With not as much damage there done to Xandrax as you would have liked to see with those Hellions. He could have possibly microed them a bit better, bit indecisive as to which way he is going to go. Spire going down there for Xandrax. Very fast Spire coming out of him. He is currently running on 1 gas though, so this is really interesting. Really going for 1 gas Spire may just be used to get a few Corruptors out on the field to really deny the drops. But Banshee is on the field. Has he actually seen this Banshee play coming out? No, he hasn't. He doesn't know that Banshees are coming out on the field. He has his Spire, so this Spire is really going to help to deny this Banshee play that we see coming out of Kuro here. He is also going to be coming up here with Hellions, coming out the front, still running on those 2 bases, getting the 2 gases down at the natural expansion there as well. Nice saturation by Kuro. In the unit counting station, we do have 49 SCVs to 39 drones. Here we go, Hellions are now preparing to come up here and do a bit more harass onto those Lings. This Banshee is still currently just sitting off here to the side. Does he have another one coming out? He does. He has 2 Banshees out now currently on the field. He does have that Cloak Research as well, so this is going to possibly be able to do a fair bit of damage. Spore Crawlers are going down there at the natural and the main. Does he know about this yet though? No, he doesn't. So he's doing blind Spore Crawlers, and it is going to be able to block these Banshees that are going to be coming in from Kuro, as a lot of Lings for Xander are now just being maxed up there at the front of the natural expansion, are going to be able to take out these Hellions as they do continue. Two Banshees still just sitting up there at the top. Lings managing to take out these Hellions quite nicely there. Now Kuro starts to kick in with the micro, and he's going to be pulling back there without taking out those Lings. Here we go, the Banshees are now coming in. So I should be actually on that. There we go. He can't really do too much with these Banshees though, as there are Spore Crawlers around. It is forcing Xander though to move those Spore Crawlers as they aren't quite in the best position. Is he going to lose the Queen? He is going to lose that Queen now, but a Spore Crawler is going to be down on the field. Will he get this Banshee? It looks like that he will. 1 Banshee is now down for Kuro, so Xander's in a pretty good position. He is managing to get a few more pot shots off on the 2nd Banshee as well, so it is quite weak at the moment. Down here at the front, we do have Mulus now going to be heading up here to do a bit of harass for Xander. Siege Tank's currently out on the field for Kuro as well. +1 melee on the field, about to come out on the field for Xandrax. So the Lings are going to be able to apply that little bit of extra more damage, as no upgrades currently out yet for Kuro. He is getting that armory, so may possibly be going for vehicle upgrades very shortly. He is now securing this 3rd, preparing now, setting up a nice little wall here with some barracks and some supply depots as well. The Terran is now coming in. Mutulus here inside the main for Xandrax, actually able to deal a fair bit of damage, killing off quite a few SCVs. We see the Medivacs coming across now, managing to heal a few of those SCVs, but the Mutulus are going to focus them down as there's no Marines underneath. And flying out now quite nicely here, done by Xandrax. How much damage did he actually cause, as it still continues though? There we go, good work there by Xandrax. Managed to kill off 15 SCVs, so very nicely done there by Xandrax, as he is now retreating with those Mutulus. 12 more Mutulus on the way for him at this moment. So this has now forced the Terran down to 50 SCVs, 65 out for the Zerg, so that has given Xandrax a nice little lead with the drone count there. He does have 3 bases up, nicely saturated as well. Just needs to make sure he keeps hitting those injects so he can keep up with the production. So many Mutalisks coming out on the field. There's currently 19 mutas on the field at the moment for Xandrax. He is getting his infestation pit there down in the main, while the Terran has now started to put up those missile turrets in the base to really secure the protection from those Mutalisks. Actually none down here at the natural though, but he is able to quickly eject that bunker, as there were a few SCVs actually picked off there. Here comes the Marines in the middle of the map, but here comes the harassment in the natural expansion here. Xandrax able to kill so many SCVs, just needs to make sure he controls those Mutalisks though. And he does lose 1, but how many more SCVs did he kill? He killed another 14 SCVs. So Xandrax playing so well with this Mutalisk, doing so much damage as well. And here comes another attack here by Xandrax, going to be attacking in 2 locations at once. Again, there's no missile turrets down here at the expansions, where Kuro needs to be protecting. There's no missile turrets, which is quite unfortunate for him, as it is his main protection. These Mutalisks are going to be used to pull the Marine army over to the natural expansion, and then he's going to be coming in here at the 3rd, so Xandrax attacking in so many locations at once with these Mutalisks dealing so much damage, and Kuro is in a lot of trouble at the moment, as he's just not really able to handle this without throwing down those missile turrets. Now he can't really go in the main, as there is a missile turret set up here, but he is going to try and take it down if he does manage to get it, and he does. He's going to have full attack here in the main, as a stim goes down there by Kuro to really try and defend. There's some more Mutalisk locks, but he is going to get some siege tanks as well if he's able to. Those Mutalisks dealing so much damage, and here's the Thor now. So now we should be seeing Xandrax really start to move away from those Mutalisks and go into very heavy ling. And there it is, 32 Zerglings in production there for Xandrax. His upgrades are currently +1 melee attacks for those lings. 4th base is also up for Xandrax at the moment, just needs to start to get that saturated. So at the moment, 50 SCVs have been killed for Xandrax. He's killed 50 SCVs. That is such a good number to take out of Kuro, because it's now forced the Terran player down to 44, while the Zerg is up at a massive 71. Playing so well at the moment, that Zerg is, and we'll see how it does go once the engagement comes. There is a Thor out on the field, so it will be able to deal massive amounts of damage, and if Xandrax doesn't control too well, he might be able to tank some Baneling hits with that as well. So it looks like Xander's now just preparing here, doing a little bit of gathering of the units there. Mutalisks are flying out again now. Kuro does not have this watchtower, so he knows the army's going across there. Hive is on the way for Xandrax at the moment, while a drop is coming across here for Kuro. He is forced to retreat though, as these Mutalisks are coming across. If he can get some very strong Thor hits on that, we'll see how this does go. If that Thor can get some strong hits, but unfortunately the Mutalisks are sent away once they do scout the army being there, and he's actually going to come across here and take out these Marines. Fantastic play by Xandrax, attacking in so many weak locations at once, and he's going to get these siege tanks as well. So big losses going down here for Kuro at the moment, and it's actually trying to repair the siege tanks, but does lose them, and he's going to lose a lot of these SCVs and the mules. The mules are a big loss, massive stim there for him, as the Mutalisks are just going to run away now. He's not dealing with these Mutalisks the way he should be. He should be putting down those missile turrets, but there's currently none down at the natural. There are 3 more up in the main, but he's almost mined out in the main at the moment. As the Thor 4 Kuro is now just sitting at the back of that natural expansion. It is almost mined out. And here goes Xander. He did set some of them up quite on one spot, but he does manage to get the Thor, and he is running away now. Greater Spire is on the way for Xandrax, so he is going to be getting those Broodlords out. So he's currently 2 Corruptors out on the field for him. And here we go, the Mutalisks are taking a fair few hits, loses almost all the Mutas to that Marine army. Fantastic play there by Xandrax, and he does have so many Banelings out on the field. I'm wondering why he isn't maxed at the moment. He just made 68 more Lings. His Ling upgrades are currently 0-1. He really needs to be focusing on those Lings. As you can see up there, 6k minerals in the bank, 2k gas. Again, it is not really too hard to go ahead and just click that one armor button, but we'll see how he does go, as the big engagement should be coming up shortly, as Xandrax should be preparing to hold off Kuro's force, and I believe he should be able to do it quite nicely, as there's just so many units for him out on the field. And here we go now. He is heading across, going to be cleaning out this little amount here while Kuro's going to be heading up here to the third. Actually getting a bit sidetracked, his army's splitting up. And here come the Ling Bane now. He should be loading up into those medevacs just to run away. But going to be positioned, actually trapped. And here comes Xanderax, all those Banelings, wiping that out so easily. And Terran's in a lot of trouble at the moment. There's not really too much he can do to really come back from this. He just lost his whole army and did almost no damage. Didn't snipe the fourth, only killed a few drones. We see 7 workers killed for Kuro, while Xanderax has killed 59. Kuro is at 56, so we can see there that he is able to keep producing those SCVs. We see 3 SCVs being produced at a time, so he really is focusing on that. His main is almost mined out, though he's actually not harvesting gas inside his main. And he's only got 1 harvesting at his natural. There we go, getting that going now. But still not on his main. His third is currently going. Here we go, the Broodlords are now out. +2 weapons for the Thors on the way, and +2 for the Marines. While 2 more factories going down, so it looks like that he is going to go into a mech transition from here. And those Mutalisks are now out. So there are currently no Mutalisks on the field for our Zerg player, so he's completely changed out of them. And we may be seeing just so many Thors coming out by Kuro very shortly, or possibly those siege tanks. But we'll see how it does go, as Xanderax's army is looking very intimidating. There are so many Crofters out on the field, which will be changed into Broodlords very shortly. Xanderax still hasn't actually started any more upgrades. 24 Mutalisks on the way actually for Xanderax at the moment. So he's getting a lot more Mutalisks out onto the field. As here he comes now, heading out across the map. Those 24 Mutalisks just finishing up now. Our Terran player isn't going to have his 2-2s. By the time this attack comes, which could be a bit of a problem. Those Banelings don't want to go into that command center, and he does manage to pull them away just in time. Great work there by Xanderax, as Kuro is now preparing to handle this. So many Marines on the field for him. But will Xanderax wait until that 2-2 is completed? We'll see if he does manage to come in time. Vikings have now started as well for Kuro, so they are going to be able to deal with the Broodlords. There are only 2 Broodlords on the field, though, for Xanderax. Not many Broodlords out for him. Where are those Mutalisks, though? There's all the Mutalisks there, preparing off to the side. Unfortunately, no upgrades for him, as Kuro is now preparing to take the middle of the map and secure his 4th. Where is his actual 4th command center? There it is up there. And here come the Mutalisks now coming into the third, able to kill these missile turrets so easily. And that's now losing Kuro, that natural expansion. However, it is all mined out, but he is going to lose quite a bit here. Those Mutalisks just dying so quickly, getting shredded apart by the 2-2 Marines. Xanderax still sitting up there in the middle of the map, playing very passively at the moment, just not going in for an attack. He should have possibly attacked so much earlier, but there we go. A big Thor hit goes down, and all of those mutas taking so much damage. Scan going down there as well, just to see what's up the end. But here comes Kuro coming around the back, able to actually go here and pick off a siege tank during this time, and he's going to be coming up behind. Those Mutalisks actually trying to attack Marines. 2-2 Marines are pretty good against 0-0 Mutalisks, especially with Thor back up. Here comes the split by Kuro, pre-splitting all of his Marines. This is very good. This is exactly what he needs to be doing. It doesn't split them enough, and the Banelings are just dealing so much damage, but those Marines do have +2 armor. And again, a fairly decent trade there by Kuro, I believe, as he did come out ahead from that. But Mutalisks are coming around the back here. Needs to make sure he protects this, as he does not want to lose as many SCVs. The Zerg not quite engaging that the best he could have. Did lose quite a bit of units. And Kuro with some fantastic splits there. Pre-splits with those Marines. Now we should be seeing Xanderax really transition out of this Mutalisk play. He needs to be going into Infesta Broodlord. It is so important that he goes into that now. So that he can really deal the big damage, because these Mutalisks are just dying so fast, they're not really able to do anything. And we can see there that our Terran player has started to gain a lead now. He's got his 4th. Bit of an engagement down here, and the Zerg losing more of that army. Actually losing Mutalisks so quickly here to these 2-2 Marines. Soon to be 3-3. Oh, soon to have the 3 weapons, as it has now just started in that production 1 ling here in this mineral line. Actually able to do a... Actually, there's 2 lings in here. Being complete ballers there, and Zerg actually behind on bases. Kuro could still be able to take this away. We do have Xanderax now going into very heavy roach. Xanderax late game Not quite the best as what it could be, as there are siege tanks on the field, and they're just going to be able to deal so much damage while the Marines stand up the front there and deal big hits. There are just a few banelings on the field, but again, not really anything to be worried about. As mentioned there in the chat by Zad, Zerg does have Oprah money. Right there, 10k minerals, 3k gas. We should be seeing 3 macro hatches going down by him, taking expansions everywhere, as he just has so many resources. At the moment, he's relying on lava, and he's not hitting these injects. This is so important that he gets these injects. His third has now just mined out. He's got no mining bases at the moment. We have a look at the income. The Zerg's income is 300 minerals per minute. So again, not quite the best income coming out from him, and it is going to start to hit him. However, he does have a massive bank built up. There we go, +2 weapons now starting for our Zerg. As he is throwing down a macro hatch there. He is producing a lot of lings. These lings are just going to die so quickly, all going into banelings. So it's going to come up to the Terran now, microing again. A lot of Vikings actually on the field for him just to deal with 2 Broodlords. Xanderax really should be making a lot more Broodlords, as they are so important, dealing so much damage, and also the Broodlings provide a bit of a wall as well, holding those units back and stopping them from getting into the fight. Xanderax, they're going to be revealing his roaches, but he actually only has 7 roaches on the field. I'm really wondering why he's gone ahead and doing this. He's made roaches at the moment, but hasn't really done anything with them. He's only got Roachling Bane, Corruptor Broodlord out on the field, so a bit of an odd mixture there, and he's also got a few Mutalisks in there as well. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to hold this, as there's just so much here from the Terran, and he should actually be starting the pre-split now, as here comes the Banelings. He needs to make sure he micros this. He's not actually doing it. He's just going to run behind those siege tanks, but there's so many. The Thor there taking so many hits. He needs to start splitting those Marines. Actually just continuing to stim though, trying to run away. And there we go, no more Banelings on the field, and here's where the Terran's going to start to move in. Those Vikings need to kill off those Broodlords for anything else. So the Terran not quite engaging there as well as he could have. He could have just done a little bit of a split, even if he cut it 25-25, like in quarters, he would have been able to do so much better than what he did. He just continued running, and the Banelings did manage to get some big hits off there, dealing a lot of damage. And the Zerg is now just reproducing. The Terran is still so far ahead, up now on 5 bases. And look at this production coming out of him. Lings just aren't doing anything anymore. Medevacs are out here healing Lings. He does have 3-2 upgrades, more Banelings in production. He needs to start making Broodlords. He's started to whittle away his bank a bit, down to 10k now, but again, there's just not too much the Zerg can really do at the moment. Has got a 4th base up here, also taken another one down here as well. Well, a lot of production coming out of Kuro. Kuro is now max. He's got 2 more Thors on the way and a few Marines as well. Got those Thors queued up as well so that he can get them out straight away. And it looks like he's going to come in now for the killing blow. And there's really just not much out here for our Zerg player. Oh, he's going to try and take down these rocks, but here come the Broodlords. Those Vikings need to hit something. Lings coming in from behind. Banelings coming in now, but they are going to hit the Thor. And all of those Lings are going to live as the Banelings run into the Thors there. And all of those Marines survive. So this is going to be the end of our Zerg player. There's just not too much he can do against this force, as he started stepping his way up to those Broodlords, and they just die so quickly. Even with such a small Marine force, he's going to be able to come up here and clean this out quite convincingly, as Medevacs are going to be healing them up. And there we go, losing the Overlords now, and just Marines running into the main. There's just nothing that the Zerg can really do. He is trying to tech to Ultras now, but it's not going to save him, as I believe this game is now completely over. Xanderax lost a massive lead that he had at the start. Baneling Nest now falling. Greater Spy going to be falling straight after that, and I believe it should be the spawning pool shortly following. No adrenal glands on all of those Lings either, so that's a big loss there for him, as there's just no real way he can catch up from this, as he's just not going to be able to deal any damage, especially with all the army now rallying there as well for Kuro. Still maxed at the moment. Here come the Banelings. He cleans that up, but again, more forces here for our Terran player, and it looks like Xanderax is lagging a bit.